Okay. I'm John Miglash for the WDMA. We're going to be talking about testing today, as usual, right? And results and ideas for what to test. So yesterday we had a bit of a thing going. Anyway, we talked about do this or die, and it was about the ad agency world. And I mentioned Postcard Mania, who's growing. They added 7% more people. And I also mentioned Brad Kugler at Direct Mail 2.0. I think I also mentioned Andrew. Um, and I got a whole bunch of questions and comments. Brad chimed in and he said that it's hard to get a broadly published case study that thoroughly explains what gives them an edge over their competitors. Very few, if any, want their competitors to know how they get better results. Well, I can tell you, if it makes it to this show, their competitors probably won't see it because one of the great things about testing is your competitors don't necessarily see it, right? They can't see both pieces. They only see the piece they got, even if they're a decoy on your list, right? Or even if they got their mother to write in and say, I'm interested in a new furnace or something. They still don't see both pieces. It's very, very difficult to see all the testing that's going on, right? Okay. And I said thank you to Brad. He does have case studies on Direct Mail 2.0. Morgan chimed in. I've actually worked with one of their clients fairly closely setting up valid testing. But interestingly, their client didn't understand it. The printers I've worked with that use Direct Mail 2.0 have told me about their clients, but they haven't explained the process to their clients adequately. So, for example, this was for a college, and they did a series of mailings, and they put tracking codes on the website, but the QR code on the mailing did not go back to the landing page to track it right to that tracking code, and so there wasn't a connection. Anyway, here's a link in yesterday's show to the Direct Mail 2.0 case studies. I can tell you that I went around Namoa because I offered to do a testing session at Namoa, and I said, I don't think people are testing as much as they should. Now, there are people at Namoa who really know testing. I'm not saying that there aren't, okay? But in general, they didn't have that as a speaking as a seminar. So I went around and talked to some of the big mailers that I could find. One of them said something really interesting, which was that their CFO doesn't like testing because if we hold out a couple of tens of thousands of names, or if we mail them a different offer that isn't as strong, we'll have actually reduced the profitability of the overall mailing. And that's true. It is true. And so the marketing person said they don't want us to test because they know that one will win and one will lose. And they don't want us to mail the loser because it will erode the overall profitability of the company. But how do you know which one's going to be the winner and loser? If you mail 100% of, it's like that, the CEO should be fired. But see, you don't have to mention the names. You don't have to mention which company. It's a really, really reputable company. And those are the kind of answers I got around Namoa, that even the best mailers in the world don't test as much as they'd like because people don't understand the testing. And so I'm going to do something wild. I used to do a thing, and this is back in the 90s, I would say, 25 years ago. USPS paid me $16,000 for a 1-hour training session with their salespeople. And that was just a couple of years ago. My normal rate these days is $8,000 per day, but I used to do a $5,000 come in, look around audit. And we had a lot of fun. We changed some industries on just that $5,000 thing. I have case studies, absolutely, where we changed companies. We changed their valuation by multiples of 10 just with that. And so it can be a great value. It usually is a great value. I'd like to offer that to clients of Direct Mail 2.0, clients of Postcard Mania, clients of Andrew Ettinger, if you'd like. I'll offer that to clients of my. I have a lot of great WDMA supporters that are printers. I'll offer to if you work with any of the printers, and if you don't know, give me a call. Scott Engelhaus is wondering why he should continue to support WDMA. I'll work with those at this special rate, $5,000. It's not the 16. It's not the 8. It's a price that I shouldn't even mention on air, but I want to offer it to Brad. I want to offer it to my friend Mike out in San Francisco. I want to offer it, and it's basically a best practices look at your company. Okay, so let's get this industry back to where it used to be. Always test something. Always test something. That was what Vic Hunter told me. The first principle, always test something. And it needs to be statistically valid. It needs to be well thought out. It's not just mail one thing and then a couple of weeks later mail something else. That's not the way they play the Super Bowl. They put two teams head to head on the same field on the same day. And they even switch ends in case there's a wind or there's funny weather or who knows what. The lighting is bad. They switch ends so that they keep the thing an even playing field. That's a key to testing. I would suggest to your clients, to your customers, the customers of your company, that if they want to get in on this, they need to sign a release that says we can release some of the information of the test. We're not going to say you can say who, what, or when, but not all three. Okay, you just can't, and that's fine. I'm happy to keep it confidential, but I also want to emphasize that we need to share the principles. I want to be really clear. When you do these live, it's really hard to be clear. I admire Joy, and I admire Brad and Andrew and Mike. Those people are talking people out of digital and into mail, and that's the kind of people I want to work with. At the same time, I'm not saying that none of those people and none of their clients are doing valid testing. I want to be very clear. I'm saying that we're not talking about testing in a valid way. We're not showing examples of valid testing. And because we're not taking it to the finish line, the digital fraud with tremendously invalid attribution is winning the game. If we could work together as an industry and share the power of direct marketing and direct marketing testing, we all benefit. Have a great day. Let's do some testing together. Again, if you're a client of Direct Mail 2.0, I give you the special deal. If you work with Postcard Mania, we can set it up. I'm happy to work with them too. Mike Gunderson, my friend. I really like Mike. Let's see some real tests. Let's show the advertising world that we mean business.